Hey everybody, Zach here at etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Saris MHS one bike package on a 2017 Toyota RAV4. This is going to be a really cool system if you're looking to just carry one bike and you're carrying a lot of different type of bikes. This is going to be a double wheel mount style. And that's what I mean, a couple different style of bikes. Whether you're carrying a bigger mountain bike like we have here, it's going to have a good wheelbase, or if you're maybe carrying a smaller road bike the next day, we're not going to have to go back and forth and make a lot of adjustments to cradles. Having this one solid tray across there and having the double arms that come up is really going to make it easy to just take our bike off, throw the next bike on whenever that day comes. Now, when it comes to the platform style bikes like we have here, that's what I like about these is there's no frame contact. So whether you have a carbon bike or you've got a weird top tube that's kind of angled down like this, those frame styles sometimes can cause damage, or it just doesn't give you the proper connection that you're looking for to keep your bike secure. You can see here, the whole car is shaking whenever I do that, so it is very secure, super easy to use. Whenever we want to get into the hatch on this, I like that the system is back here to release this. Really easy to use. Tilt that down. Now the one thing with the handlebars I have here today is it is a little tight. Does make contact right there. So if you've got slimmer handlebars, not going to be a big issue on the RAV4. I have a fix for that later. I'll show you that once I get the bike taken off. That's the nice thing about this is we're kind of able to move this cradle around a little bit. So we'll get this picked back up. We have it in the single bike configuration today. But if you take a look right here, we can pop this system out and we can pick up another tray and we can connect it right here, and we're going to get a two bike out of this. So maybe most of the time you're just taking one bike out, but maybe you've got a trip coming up with a buddy. You can pop in that second one there, take it along, so you can have two bikes on here, take it off pretty quick and easy to just keep it as a single bike rack while you're riding throughout the week. But just going to focus on the one bike today. Going to show you how this releases. We've got one tire strap back here, pretty lengthy right there. So you're going to be able to get around some pretty beefy tires. Seems like it's a little too long. It's got a lot of excess hanging out, but I guess it's better to be too long than too short. Really easy to release this. Just press that button there. Those lower really far down, so I probably wouldn't let it go all the way, but you could probably, yeah, see it's still in there good, like just with one. That's not going anywhere because we have this wheel chock right here too. Release that, and we can get our bike off. Get this out of the way. And we can take a closer look at how this works. I'm gonna get this strap put back in place, but this slides back and forth all the way to this center section to accommodate those different wheelbases. And you can hear that ratchet down. It's not going out until I release that again. Get that put down in place. If we take a closer look here, I had a 29-inch with 2.3 tires on that bike. If we wanted to take this down to like a 27.5 or get it down lower to like a BMX style, we can loosen this here, pull this pin out, and just adjust to the different tires that we have. But I'm keeping it on that 29. I'll lower that down all the way. Before I get those put up all the way though, I want to show you the locks that we have here. So we've got a cable lock here in the center, so we can wrap up around our frame there. I think this is a pretty unique design being here in the center. Usually they're on the ends or up here on the arms, and I like that because I can put it right there around the frame. I can avoid most of my drivetrain or my wheels in the back. Maybe if you've got a full suspension bike like we had there, it maybe gets a little tricky, but I think having this big cable with plenty of room to get around it. This cable's thicker than most cables that come included with bikes, with bike racks of this style, so I think that's a really nice design. So that was one of the things that really stood out to me when I first got my hands on this rack. Get those put down in place. There's that wheel chock. You can either go on the front or the rear side of that, depending on the wheelbase of your bike. for me, I think it makes sense putting it the way I had it. Before I fold this up, I'm going to get a measurement real quick off the back of the RAV4 today. So from my bumper here to the rearmost part, I'm looking at 28 inches to the rear part of the vehicle. The ground clearance here, because we get this little guard right here, so that sticks down quite a bit. So the RAV4 is not a real tall vehicle. We're right at about 14 inches. And then closest point, it's probably going to be right about there. In that area, I'm thinking, that's about 5 3/4 of an inch. So we can get this folded up. And you see it catches right there. So you could keep it in this position right here. I don't think it really does a whole lot of good for me there. I can open my hatch there with it like that. So that's nice. I think that's more of maybe if you've got a bigger bumper on a different vehicle, maybe a spare tire on something else. I definitely can't open my hatch right there. So it's going to make contact. So maybe you don't want to lower it all the way. If you're looking to just get something quick in and out, you don't have to lower it all the way. So that's kind of nice. Get that put in place. Get my measurements again, show you how much we're saving there. And I'm looking at about 12 3/4 of an inch. So I'm shaving off a lot of weight. If you're going to keep it like this, maybe to fit into the garage. Getting quite a bit closer to the bumper. It's at about 3 1/4 inches. This has got a little bit of movement, but I think it's got a little bit of friction there, so that's not going anywhere. So it's not getting any closer. It's just going to probably bounce closer to the base of the rack there. And then in this configuration, we're sitting at about 11 1/4 inches of that. So now that we've got those measurements out of the way, I do want to show you what I like about this bike rack if I'm keeping it in a single. So this isn't a quick and easy way to do this, but once you figure out, let's say you're always taking that bike out right there. Most mountain bikes nowadays have pretty wide handlebars like that, so you're probably going to run into that issue. What you can do, drop my tool there, we can move this cradle back. So I'm going to come right down here, and I'm going to loosen this up. I think it's probably best to do it in this position instead of being upright. Backwards here. And what's nice is we can just move this back. Now, if you're picking up the, let me get a better eye on it just for a second. If you're picking up the add-on, you're not going to be able to move it in this configuration. There we go. Okay. So just loosen it up that way. I don't think you should take this off when it's in that position there, just because you don't want it coming undone and hitting the vehicle. So it comes with this included tool, and it's not just a regular Allen key. It's still got a little security device built into it, so you don't have to worry about somebody coming by and taking this real easily. We'll loosen that up just a little bit more. All right, so then that drops down. And what we can do is we can take this and move it back just a little bit. Get it put in place there. You can see how that latches in place. And then we're just going to tighten this up. Well, I loosened it up there. So get that put back in place. thing about this is you do want it to get tight, but there's no real audible click the way a lot of things on bike racks nowadays will signify that it's tightened down all the way. Just want to get it as tight as you can. I wouldn't overdo it by any means. So now that we have that back there, let's see if we can get this loaded up and have better clearance. You can see here, that's what I was talking about by putting on the front of that chalk. I think if I went a little bit further back, I think this bike's just a little too big for that. There's that long strap getting in the way. Get that tightened down. I think we're good there. Now we can see, I don't know which way I'm going there. Can lower it down. Now we have a lot more room to get our hatch open. So one bike configuration, if your hitch is like the one on this RAV4, you're probably going to want to bring it back. That doesn't change any of the weight capacities. It's totally fine to put it in that position. You're just not going to be able to add on that second one in this configuration. So this is how I would use this one if I was just doing the one bike. I'm going to get that back up. If you want to come in and take a closer look down here at the hitch, this one's going to be on the one bike configuration. It's going to be in a 2-inch hitch here today, but it also works with 1 1/4 inch hitches. So if you have another vehicle that has 1 1/4 inch, you can take this little sleeve off here, make it work there. It's going to come with an anti-rattle bolt and a lock. The lock's going to be key to like, so really going to be nice to have one key for your whole system here to keep everything secure. Overall though, I think this is a really cool bike rack. This style is my favorite. There's a lot of people that make this style rack. I really like the finish. I like the way everything kind of works together. I like being able to add on a second bike if I want to pick up that system as well. I really like that this handle is large. It's really easy to use to tilt that back. And I think it's just a good looking bike rack, and I really like that I can get a wide wheelbase on here, get a big full suspension on there, or I can throw other bikes on there without having to move a lot of cradles around. But that's going to do it for a look at the Saris One Bike MHS bike rack on our 2017 Toyota RAV4.